talking about? Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
AFC South Side. AFC South Side. Are you ready for the fight? Nighty night, lights out, no Tyson. About to be the clash of the Titans. Strike like a lightning bolt. You feel the ground ground pounding, that might be the coast. Quick like a joke, like to hit when provoked, don't you doubt that. That's a Jaguar to a house cat. That's an outcast to a whole squadron. If you talking Houston, then we've got a problem. You'll probably get the horns if you mess with the cattle. Sit back in your saddle and get ready for the fan battle.
You know Jacksonville's motto, going places and eating faces.
Right.
Gang, gang.
I love that intro. Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning into the AFC South Fan Battle Podcast. My name is Samantha Burnett. I hope you all are having a fabulous Tuesday. We're going to dive into this in a little bit, but I am absolutely shell-shocked that the Titans won yesterday. I'm shell-shocked. What was that? Is Mike Vrabel trying to keep his job? I don't know, but it's got the Titans going crazy. So, RIP our mentions. That's all I can say. But I do want to mention before I introduce our commentators for this evening that we will be doing a giveaway. I'm going to announce the giveaway towards the end of the show. I'm going to give a code this show, kind of like a Christmas giveaway. I'm going to give a code at the end of the show, and then next week, if you comment that code and you're following us on all of our things, you can win a hat of whatever team, as long as it's AFC South. You know what I'm saying? So we'll be, when we wrap up the show, we will be giving that out, so make sure you stay tuned. That being said, introducing our commentators for this evening, representing the Jaguars, we have the second best Josh Allen.
That's right. Second best. Second best behind the Jacksonville Josh Allen, and the bum in Buffalo is somewhere in the 2030s on the list of all-time Josh Allens. The guy's a clown. No one likes him.
Representing the Texans, we have Crenshaw with us from Texans Fan Battle.
What up?
That easy, huh? Just what up? I like it. Short and sweet and to the point. Representing the Titans, the winners this week, we have the Mayo Wonder, Michael.
Mayo madness is real. Ain't ending anytime soon, obviously.
You must have restocked, and that's why they won, I guess. And representing the Colts, we have the one and only Josh Sr.
What's good, everybody?
Man, that's a very depressing intro from some of you, and I get it. As the non-biased host, who is also a Jaguars fan. Trust me, I get it. So, what a week. What a week in general. Lots of injuries, just all around, rumors and movements and things happening. It's almost surreal that it seems like the off season was so long. It took so long for the season to start, and now the season has gone by so fast. And it's crazy to me that we're on this end of it. We're in December already. That's insane to me. So I'm excited. I guess it's different because I've watched Jaguars football for so long that I'm used to being depressed and looking at draft picks at this point. But yeah, here we are. So what about you guys? How do you feel? Please, not all at once. Calm down. Crenshaw, come on. Give us some feedback, Crenshaw.
I'm just happy that we have some meaningful football for the Texans in December. This time last year, I was looking at the draft, but now I'm looking at still trying to make the playoffs. And I love December because that's my birthday month. So I love
Me
December.
too.
There it
Same
is.
as me. Same me too.
Oh yeah, do we have the same birthday, Josh Sr.?
My December 20th.
Yeah, right around the same time. I'm Christmas Eve. When's your birthday?
I'm 29.
Yeah, look at us.
Wait.
Look at us go. December birthdays. We're going to have to do a December birthday special. That's what we should do.
That sounds lame. I wouldn't watch it.
Stop hating, man.
Excuse us. I think it would be great. We're going to have fun, and you're not invited. How about that?
It's fine. I didn't want to come anyway.
Well, okay, since you have so much to say, Josh, how do you feel?
I think that Caldwell, the defensive coordinator for the Jags, should be fired. I said that last year. I think, if I see Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen in pass coverage on a 3rd and long one more time, I'm going to lose my freaking mind. I just, and then Trevor Lawrence throwing 3 picks. Like, it was just a disaster. But all around the league, like, games were just it's like someone took a Uno Reverso card and just like reversed all the expectations of what what everybody thought was going to happen with these games. Nobody thought I didn't think that the Jets were going to clean the Texans clocks. Like, nobody saw that coming. Like, I mean that was shocking to me. The Jags game, that wasn't entirely unexpected. I had a feeling, but obviously nobody expected the Mayo miracle, the Miami Mayo miracle yesterday.
Insane. Crazy.
And then the Colts getting shellacked by the Bengals. Like, I don't necessarily take joy in the Colts losing. Like, I'm happy that they lost just because the Jags lost and it keeps the division standing sort of where they were. But it did make me feel better that Jake Browning also just picked the Colts defense apart like he did the Jags defense. So maybe it wasn't just the Jags defense that was terrible, but maybe that backup for the Bengals is actually kind of good. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it sucks. It's a shame. The last 2 weeks have been rife with missed opportunities for the Jaguars. If they had won either of those 2 games, they'd be 2 games up in the division, and the schedule ahead would be a little less. It'd be a little less worrisome. The Jags have one more game on the schedule, that has a opponent that they sort of should lose to, and that's the Ravens. But then they play the Buccaneers, and the Titans and the Panthers. I don't know. It's a shame they could not take advantage of getting one win in the last 2 weeks and put themselves up farther in the division. But
I do want to go over some of these comments before we dive into NFL news. This one got my heart right here. This one. It's cool to see how far this podcast has come in this group page. Respect to everyone on the pod tonight, but it's still the Titans. I don't like that part, but the rest of it I enjoy, because I will say, 5 years ago when we were doing this on Skype and having to audio capture and figure this all out, it's been fun, and I've enjoyed it. And I've enjoyed like people like Tommy Briley, who have been here, since the beginning. So shout out to you guys. I
definitely think the podcast kicked it up a notch about August of last year.
Yeah. Get out of here.
I mean,
get out of here.
When I joined, and
then Crenshaw, you got some fans in the chat. I don't know if they would be biased, but Texans fan battle says the only one that matters is Crenshaw.
That is a great comment right there.
But I mean, Crenshaw's
like
one of those guys. Crenshaw's one of those guys. I don't think I've heard anyone say, "Oh man, that guy sucks." Right? Like, everybody seems to universally think nothing but good things.
Yeah, but the Texans fan battle commented that.
Listen,
I'm very chill. I'm very chill.
So I'm just saying it's a little ironic there. I think Crenshaw, did you post that yourself from the Texans fan battle page?
No, it wasn't me. It was someone else.
I'm sure.
Uh-oh.
We see you, Matt. We see you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
I cursed you, Crenshaw. Here comes somebody that says Crenshaw sucks.
Man,
I don't even know. I've never heard of Patrick.
I know, but thank you, Patrick. I appreciate you.
Right.
I'm gonna follow you.
He means that with love, I'm sure. So Ray Cherry says the Colts were exposed, the Jags were exposed. Tommy Briley, the Colts fans, I'm telling you, or the Titans fans are coming out. Look.
Wow.
Especially Ray.
Yeah, Reynald Cherry, Gabriel Ruiz, where you guys been the last 30 days, man? Like, I haven't heard from you guys at all.
Welcome back.
You guys good? Like, were you in a hospital? Did you get in a car accident? I hope you're okay. I hope you're okay. Like, legitimately. Hope I hear from you more often, except only when the Titans win. But, congrats.
Well, there you go. You got a hate fan club. I don't know about Josh. He's always bullying us Titans fans too much. I mean, that's all.
Be more specific as to which Josh. There's 2 Joshes, and both of us like to bully Titans fans. So
that's true.
I'm gonna need
everybody likes to bully Titans fans, with all due respect. I'm just saying. Well, actually, not with any respect, but you get it.
I'm the nice Josh out of the 2.
Yes, and Patrick does say with all love, so that's good. Speaking facts, FACK, we need to bring it back. And Chris Jackson says the Titans were exposed to high levels of Mayo toxicity. So, yeah. Let's dive into NFL news, guys. How do you feel? Let's do it. Who wants to kick this one off? Justin Herbert is done for the season. Who wants to
he got a ouchie on his finger. and he's out for the year. I'm just saying he's not tough like Trevor Lawrence.
Was it this one?
It might have been. I don't know which. It was his index finger on his throwing hand. And I'll be honest, like I'm not very smart. I don't remember which. If the index finger is the middle finger, like all the technical names for the fingers. I'm not a fingerologist, so
index is this one.
Okay, so that's the one that he broke then. Broken finger, had to the point where he had to have surgery. So he is done for the year. I think if it was earlier in the year, he would probably be back. But yeah,
he should have been out last week, only scoring 6 points. I mean,
you could argue the Chargers are just wasting his career. I kind of hope that Herbert goes to free agency at some point.
Hayden John says it was his ring finger. We need to be very specific on the finger here, guys.
Which fingers?
Yeah. Gotta be specific.
You know what? I'm just gonna leave that alone. I'm leaving alone. I don't know. It just feels like the Chargers are doing what the Chargers have always done and wasting the career of a very good quarterback on just incompetency in the front office and with the coaching. And, you feel for guys like Justin Herbert, dude just can't seem to catch a break. He seems like one of those guys that wants to win, that wants to do well, but he's just surrounded by, it's,
Chris Jackson says, wait, hold on.
Go back to that.
It's not the fingerologist, it's the handologist, you uncultured swine. It was the pointer finger.
Finger.
I'm assuming
Pointer finger. Which one did you break?
Yes, we need to be very specific on which finger Justin Herbert broke. We can't be spreading false, disinformation on this podcast.
Yeah. So yeah, he's out for the year. So I think I couldn't even tell you who the backup for the Chargers is. Like I could not. I'd have to look it up. So the Chargers, if they weren't already, they are pretty much done. For the year, they're done in the water. You have to think.
Man, I can't wait till the Titan segment. This is going to be the most delusional segment we've done all season.
And they are hopped up on their mayo flavored meth in the comment section already too, man. They're going.
We're all suicide watch this week. So.
Yeah, man. They're partying. They slathered up their pet trash pandas with mayo and had a good old time last night.
My God.
All right, moving on. What's our next bit of NFL?
Bill Belichick gone after the season? ?
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. I know Josh Senior posted at one of our group chats we have. I'd be curious to know y'all's thoughts, but I have a hard time believing that. I don't know. It seems weird.
What do you think?
I'll be happy as a coach fan. I would love for his ass to get fired because he got our coach fired last year. So payback is a motherfucker.
Would he retire? Or would he go to another team?
I think he'd be done. I think his style of coaching is pretty much outdated. I think it's time for him to go ahead and retire. I know Titans fans are saying that they can trade Mike Vrabel to the Patriots, but I doubt all that happens.
Yeah, actually, Gabriel Ruiz says, and I've heard this for a few weeks now. Rumors have been Vrabel is headed to New England. Now Bill is going to do these rumors. Now Bill is going to do these rumors become believable. Gabriel,
he didn't use good punctuation. He says, now that Bill is gone, do these rumors become believable? If Bill Belichick leaves New England, do we believe the rumor?
I thought I was having a seizure for a minute.
Well, I mean, many people have suffered reading content Gabriel Ruiz has put on the internet, so I get it. That's par for the course with Titans fans. But I don't know. I think it depends on how Vrabel leaves Tennessee. If he leaves Tennessee, I guess I'd want to know from our resident Titans commentator how likely, given what happened last night, how likely do you think Vrabel is gone? Like, how do you feel about it? Would you fire him? Would you keep him? Would you?
I've said all season, as long as we get to 5 or 6 wins, which we're at 5 wins now, then he's not going anywhere this year. I think that they give him next year to restock the roster and see what happens. I think he could be on the hot seat next year, though, but I don't think he gets traded. But just to add into the Belichick rumor, I live in North Carolina, and the heavy rumor here is that if Belichick does leave, the Panthers are going to pursue him.
Bad idea. Really bad idea.
I mean, that seems to check out with him, though. Yeah, I mean, I guess when was the last time that a head coach was traded? I know that Sean Payton traded?
Yeah.
But before that, I don't know. I don't know that I can remember.
I know Belichick was traded to New England originally. I don't know if he was the last one that was traded before Peyton.
Oh, and I know this isn't sports related, but Andre Bronner died from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm really sad about that. By the way, the actor from Brooklyn Nine-Nine plays a sergeant.
The guy who's famous for the line, I specifically requested the opposite of this.
Yes.
He also, one of my favorite movies ever, a movie called Glory, with Denzel Washington. It was actually his first movie. And he was in the show Homicide: Life on the Street. That was where he made like TV fame.
Yeah, that's super sad. I hate that.
Yeah.
Not that that's sports related, but I felt it was important because
thanks for killing the vibe, Sam.
My bad.
All right,
My bad.
on after this season, and let's talk about the stupid Kansas City crybaby Chiefs.
Oh my God, Patrick Mahomes! Holy crap, dude!
Yeah. I guess first of all, I want to know from people like Crenshaw, whose opinion I respect, and the other folks on the show. Like, I've heard a lot of people have a lot of opinions about Kadarius Toney and how he was lined up. What's the opinion of the folks on this show about whether that should have been called as offside on the offense?
I mean, he was offsides. I mean, he pointed at the ref, but he didn't actually get confirmation. It's only a big deal because they scored a touchdown on that play. They wouldn't score a touchdown, wouldn't have been a big deal. And he's been in the league long enough. First round pick. Line up right, bro. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I saw a offensive offside penalty. I'm sure it happens, but like that's a rare thing. It feels like, at least from my perspective.
But they threw the flag early. They didn't throw it late, unlike the Texans and Jags game. But that's a different story.
Yeah, I do want to play this meltdown real quick if I can get it, because it's pretty epic. It's a pretty epic meltdown. Last time I saw a meltdown like that is when I told my daughter she could not have candy.
Some of the memes have been pretty glorious. I don't know.
Here we go.
All right, here we go.
Dun, da, da, da. Da, da, dun, da, da, da. Oh no, are we gonna get copyrighted because I'm singing that?
I don't even know what you were singing, so probably not. Yeah. No, maybe if you knew how to sing whatever it is you're trying to do properly, be copyrighted.
You know what? You can go.
Okay. Hey, you wouldn't be the first person I've made rage quit something today.
You're not gonna make me rage quit. Let's see. We're going to share a screen, and why isn't it popping up? Oh, here we go. Now it is. All right. Let's go.
I'll have to edit this out of the audio portion of the podcast.
The browser can't access your screen. What do you mean? Well, maybe not, guys. Maybe not, unless somebody else can grab it. It's a pretty epic meltdown, and I appreciate a good meltdown, like I said. There we go. Is it working now? StreamYard's just not having it today. It says it's sharing my window. I don't know what's going on.
I think Patrick got all those taken off air, so I think that's the reason why you having problems.
Well, what's funny is the Andy Reid and Mahomes after the game at the press conferences, were pretty vocal about their criticism of the referees and the officiating of the whole game. But then today, at some point, Andy Reid talked to the media and said that he confirmed with both Kadarius Toney and the referees that Kadarius Toney did not check with them and get confirmation that he was lined up properly. But then immediately says it's still the referee's fault. And I'm just like, you just can't have it both ways. You can't ask these guys, you can't get angry over missed calls. And then when it's just blatant, to the point where Kadarius Toney, if you're looking down the line of scrimmage, I saw one angle, he's blocking the line judge's view of the ball. It's just blatant, it's not one of these things where a dude's hand was in the neutral zone or the top of his helmet was sort of where it wasn't supposed to be. He was offside. And just the meltdown from these.
All right, now we got it because I'm using my Chrome tab. So here we go.
For a go-ahead touchdown But the touchdown had to be called back because Kadarius Toney himself was offsides, and Patrick Mahomes is livid at the end of the game. Tony Romo on the broadcast said that he was yelling at the refs, but he's on the sideline.
What happens when you don't give your
that he
kids
rarely
candy?
does, and he just slams his helmet with his left arm too, still showing off the strength there. But some of it could be the
Showing
refs,
off
but
his
also
strength.
there's just built up frustration. Obviously, he's not going to blame his teammates, but whether it's been Marquez
Look at that.
Valdez-Scantling dropping the ball, or
Hold on, let's go back.
Valdez-Scantling dropping the ball, or
Let's go back to
Kadarius
that,
Toney, whether it's been Marquez Valdez-Scantling dropping the
come
ball,
back.
or Kadarius.
I want to go back to
whether
this.
it's been Marquez Valdez.
Whatever.
I feel like I'm watching.
Look at that. That's so beautiful. Everybody, take a look.
That's
Everybody,
nice.
everybody, but Michael, take a look. Look at that. The AFC playoff picture right there.
Yep.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah,
Whether it's been Marquez Valdez-Scantling dropping.
So, yeah.
Seems like the pieces around.
Full on meltdown. I enjoyed it. I just want to know at what point, because I don't know if you guys remember the Justin Herbert, Bosa situation with the Jaguars game last year. So at what point do they call flags? I guess because he was on his own side.
He's on the sideline, so I don't think they're gonna flag a guy for going nuts unless he goes up to like the side judge or one of the officials that's on the sideline there, in front of the benches and gets too verbal. I think that's maybe the only way you see that. Now, if he was out in the field doing that, but I mean, it just it's like Matt Briggs, who's not with us tonight, says, don't let the game be close enough that it's in the hands of the officials, right? Like go out there and do your job, and you don't have to worry about that, like the Jags were able to overcome the referees trying to give the game to the Texans.
Only Texans fan on the planet who has said that too. So shout out for not being delusional.
Crenshaw, I've listened to Crenshaw's takes on it. He's been pretty reasonable about it too. But I think they're, we probably like them a little more because we know them and they're part of our squad, right? But there were some unreasonable. But even Jags fans in that loss to not the Browns, but who did we play the week before? The Bengals with that holding call, and then Ridley getting interfered with on that same play at the end of the game. Like Jags fans were going crazy on it too, saying the referees cost us the game. But again, if your defense doesn't give up 400 yards to a guy that nobody's ever heard of before, you don't have to worry about that play. That play is inconsequential. And Brandon McManus said, there's a million things that happen in a football game. Every football game is kind of like its own little mini season. There's ups and downs, ebbs and flows, and there's a handful of plays.
Mitchell Sledge, refs won that game. End of story. Come on.
I don't know which game you're talking about. Okay.
Let's move on to the last NFL news so we can break it to the games. 49ers are the first to clinch the playoffs. And, man, who wouldn't have seen that coming?
Well, they were struggling before they played the Jags, and then the Jags helped them get tuned up and humming along, and since then they've just been rolling. But listen,
they are a great team, though.
Yeah, I get it. But
Josh Senior, do you have any commentary for that?
I hate the Niners, so I don't care.
You hate them? I mean, Same. I get it. Any Crenshaw?
Yeah, I mean, all I can say is, long as Brock Purdy is healthy, I think they go to the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Michael, what do you think?
Well, I got McCaffrey on my fantasy team, so as long as he keeps getting these 100-yard games and touchdowns, then it's all right.
Oh, no Derrick Henry?
No, I'm actually going up against Derrick Henry this week for the playoffs. So.
Why no Derrick Henry?
It's a keeper league, and somebody else got him and won't release him.
Sure, that's a really good story. That's a really good way of saying I would rather have McCaffrey over Derrick Henry. But
I've got Zach Moss as well. So
okay. So Josh, you say that the 49ers will not go to the Super Bowl.
Oh no. Well, I mean, I hope. I mean, my only goal is for them to beat the Cowboys. So at that point, I don't care what they do, but as long as they beat the Cowboys and maybe the Eagles.
America.
Yeah. So I don't really care. I don't have a problem with them going to Super Bowl. If they do go to the Super Bowl, they just hang it over the Cowboys' head, and Cowboy fans will cry about it off season. So I'll be happy with that too.
Well, listen, while you're speaking, since you're already in the talking box, let's go ahead and get you. Colts Bengals.
Yeah, it was an ugly game. This game felt like a trap game to us. Like we was more focused on the Steelers game that's coming Saturday. And we couldn't stop the run. We couldn't stop those screen passes with I don't know. I think his last name was Brown, the running back, but Brownie and Brown or Mixon, they just kept running the same screen pass, and they got positive yardage throughout the game. They opened up the passing with Chase and Higgins and whoever else they threw the tight ends. We just couldn't stop anything. We couldn't stop the run. Couldn't stop the field is wide open. Once we did, we did get the momentum after we got a pick six and a turnaround and tie the game. But at that point, it was just over. What my only problem is Gardner throwing the ball almost 40 times again. He's threw the ball 39 times, and we think we ran it maybe total 20 times with only 46 yards. We got to get that. We got to make some adjustments on that. But our defense played, our offense and defense and special teams played poorly. That's why you see a 20-point loss to the Bengals. You guys lost to them as well, but I didn't think it would be like this. It was very. I wasn't impressed at all. I hope we can clean up the mistakes we made and play a different team, be a different team come playing against the Steelers this Saturday.
How do you feel like that Steelers? How do you feel like that's going to go?
I'm not happy. We haven't beat the Steelers in like 8 years. I think they've been 8 years. We haven't beaten the Steelers, so I'm not happy about that game either. I think that's probably why we looked over the Bengals because they had a backup and looking at Steelers, and I don't know. I'm just not happy. I think I want to win. We can win with Mitch Trubisky starting, but I mean they beat us with Benny Testaverde. Yeah, they just always have our number.
Michael Tessmer has entered the chat and says, just a reminder that the Titans still suck. And
it's facts.
And it was always the Jags. Yes, we agree. Wow. Tessmer is a Colts fan.
Somebody hacked his account?
Yeah, what's going on, buddy? You okay? You know, Tessmer has been working really hard on losing weight. I think he lost himself. I think that's what happened. There's no way that he would actually
he came to his senses, and now he's a Jags fan. Congrats. Welcome to the team. Do you think Minshew was playing with any sort of concussion at all? Because that was the stuff that was on social media, that he was concussed.
He should have been to the tent. I saw that play that he did. He get up kind of slow. He should have went to the tent. He should have probably been at the game, and we could have had Sammy Elliger in. But I guess he was fine. I mean, I don't know why they didn't check him out. Usually, you stop a play like that and send a guy to the tent and, see if he's clear, possibly clear him. But they didn't do that at all. So maybe they could have potentially was the reason why I ain't gonna say the reason why we lost, but the reason why things looked the way they did on the field.
Did they throw 40 times because the run game wasn't working, or you think that was like the plan for them to come out throwing on that defense?
Well, Shane Steichen, his offense is he feel like there's an opportunity where we can throw the ball 40 times, we will. But there's an opportunity where we run the ball at least 30 times or close to 40 times, we will. I guess he feel like it's working. And at the time it was working with Pittman and Downs and Pierce, but we didn't establish a run. We just was one-dimensional, passing the ball to those our weapons, but we wasn't putting a lot of points on the board up until we tied the game. At that point, that was a wrap.
Oh, Tessmer is saying it's always the Jags and that they will always do Jag things like lose to Fluco.
Uncle Joe. I call him Uncle Joe.
Colts lost to Jake Browning. LOL. Laughing emoji. Mitchell Sledge says.
Mitchell, y'all lost to Bryce Young, so sit down somewhere. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm sorry, man, but throwing shots, man, I got to throw them back.
It's okay.
This is fan battle. We don't apologize here.
Yeah, when you get whooped by Oompa Loompa, you don't have a whole lot of talk.
And then the womanizer, Zach Wilson. Not womanizer, whatever.
Mominizer, maybe.
Yeah, mominizer.
The mominator.
Hide your moms.
Yeah, but JT not being there really is. I wouldn't say is a miss because Zach Moss has been really well. He's been playing extremely well all year. So you think that our run game would still be the same with JT not being there, but hopefully he's able to play come Saturday.
Dude, Michael Tessmer is delusional. I'm worried about him. Outside the Titans, no one had a good week. Let's be honest. What is wrong? No Tessmer. Bad. No. Mm-mm.
And then our defense we didn't even sack Jake Browning.
Jags fans understand that feeling. We were there.
So,
Before
do
you guys.
you at this point in the season, do you foresee the Colts? You know, there's been a lot of chatter. Do you foresee them going to the playoffs?
I'm unlike Crenshaw, just like Crenshaw, I mean, we met expectations. Will there be a playoffs? I'm not sure. I think the last game would determine if we make the playoffs with versus the Texans, because it's a lot. I mean, we both got cakewalk teams coming up. So I mean, still not cakewalk. Well, we got Atlanta, we got Raiders, and they got bad teams. So I don't know. I guess it's coming down to the last game, see who make the playoffs. If we don't make it, I'll still be fine. But if we make it, I mean, it's still an exciting season. I'm not disappointed at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a little bit better than we expected at the beginning of the season. That's for sure. So, yeah. Anything else to add?
It was always the Colts.
Oh, barf.
That phrase, I'm pretty sure you're copyright infringing now, sir. You have to.
I'm calling Shad Khan.
Cease and desist.
Hey, well, I can't steal that, man. Okay, well, I can't steal. I'm just being like Rod Wave.
You gotta let us have something. Let us have one thing. That's all we ask for. We just want one thing. That's all Jags fans have ever asked for. A couple good seasons and one thing. Let us have our thing.
All right. Well, if nothing else to add, moving on to the this is going to be a tough one. Speaking of mominizers here. Texans. Oh, it hurts. What happened? Don't say the refs.
Nah, it wasn't the refs. I can't much blame the weather because those guys was going off, as well. It was just a bad game. I guess we wasn't prepared. I mean, I don't know what was going on. Maybe they was in New York and partying or something. I don't know what was going on. No, it was just a bad game. Halftime we went in 0-0. It was a lot of chatter in our chats, saying we need to do this, we need to do that. I thought it was going to turn it around, but I guess the Jets was just more prepared. I guess Robert Saleh, he just had it and more against us. I mean, I don't know. It's really a hard game to dissect. Like we had on our recap show, it's a hard game to dissect because we did nothing right. Offense was bad. Defense was bad. Special teams was bad. We couldn't tackle. I mean, we let Zach Wilson look like a all-pro out there, man. Like all phases of the game, we were just bad. And then insult to injury, we lose our quarterback. Then we lost Nico Collins. So, we lost Blake Cashman. We were looking player after player. So it was just a bad, ugly game. Hopefully we don't have that performance again. When we played the Jaguars and we were 6-5 on our show, we said we got 6 games left. We got 2 duds, so we could go 4-2 down the stretch, get to 10 wins and make the playoffs. So we won 1. We beat Denver. We had our dud against the Jets, and hopefully we have no more duds, but I think we're going to lose again this Sunday to Tennessee. So shout out to you.
Oh, you do? I
think we're going to lose to Tennessee, yes, because we have Davis Mills starting this Sunday.
You think it'll be Mills, so you don't think Stroud will be out of there?
Yeah, I hope he doesn't play. Even if he is available, I hope he doesn't play. Sit him out for another week.
Yeah, let him rest.
Yes.
I was going to ask you that too.
Yeah, because I believe he was concussed before, and they brought him back into the game. So this 2 concussions, sit him out, and bring him back for our Christmas Eve game against the Browns. But overall, just a bad game, all phases.
Yeah, that's like a redemption game, the Browns game for you guys.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson.
I wish he was playing in that game, but
he's not going to be.
He's out for the season.
Oh, is he out for the season?
Yeah, he's out for the season with an injury.
Is that in Cleveland or?
That sounds like a David Muggaletta move right there.
Maybe. No, it's going to be in Houston. It's going to be in Houston for the second time, like last year. It was in Houston. They beat us. But yeah, it was just a bad game. It's just overall we got our ass whooped. I mean, all phases, man. I was getting text messages after text messages, and I had to face them.
Yeah, and when there's nothing you can say about it too, it's like, what can you do?
I mean, nothing. I mean, my quarterback didn't even get 100 yards passing, and we had Zach Wilson threw for 300 yards, man. I mean, come on, Zach Wilson.
That's crazy.
Yes,
that's crazy.
I think you also saw
I think I commented that in one of our AFC chats. Like I said, the Jaguars were making Flacco look like Brady. Like same thing. What were you gonna say, Josh? Sorry.
I think we're at the point in the season where teams like the Jets have nothing to lose. So you're going to see some of these teams come out and they just play loose. They just go out and play football. Whatever happens doesn't matter. Their season's already tanked. They're already done. They're not going to the playoffs. I mean, they're not technically eliminated, but they're probably eliminated. So I think that's the danger with some of these. When the Jags play, Carolina, the last, I think this last home game. I think we play the Titans in Tennessee after that. That's going to be one of those games. The Panthers will have nothing to lose at that point, and there may still be division implications, playoff implications for that game for the Jags. So I think sometimes you just get snake bit, and that's what happened with. It's felt like what happened with the 49ers for the Jags. Just one of those days where like everything went wrong across the board completely. It seemed a little bit I was able to watch via Red Zone for the Texans. It seemed like the same thing was happening to the Texans. Man, just everything that could go wrong was going wrong.
Yeah, if we wouldn't got that turnover, I don't think we scored this game. We would have had a goose egg like the Raiders had against Minnesota. Yeah. So just a bad game overall. No weapons out there, but still you got to find ways to get guys open. I mean, they were dropping balls and everything, but it's no excuse. You got to play better than that. So bad on D'Amico, bad on Bobby, bad on the entire Houston Texans.
Yeah, I feel like too that a lot of people don't talk about, this late in the season, you're dealing with, even if people are not officially injured, you're dealing with beat up teams. They're sore, they're tired. They've been playing for quite some time now. You do have, injury bugs as we see, but like even if they aren't officially injured, they're all taped up and wrapped up and they've been taking some hits. So, they're getting a little worn out. It's rough. It's rough. So, so next week, who do you play again?
We play the Tennessee Titans.
That's the one that you're saying that you're losing.
Yes, in Nashville.
Yeah, and they're going to be all riled up, but I still don't see. I mean,
and they're wearing the throwback uniforms.
Slap in the face. I forgot about that. Yes, I forgot about that.
So it's gonna be one of those games, and that's gonna be a D-Hop revenge game. I believe it's the first time we played him since the trade, I believe. So he's ready to eat that game. So it's gonna be a wild one for sure.
Mike Patton said they asked D'Amico what was the best thing about this past game, and his response was that it's over.
And I agree with D'Amico.
Yeah, I think that's the only answer you can have, right? Like, what are you gonna do? Sit and fuss over it forever? Like, it's over. Move on to the next week. Watch the film, get better. Try to do as Gus Bradley is famous for saying, just get better, to the point where the Jags had a banner hanging up in the little tunnel the players would walk through to go to the field. Remember when they used to do the prowl, Sam, and they would walk through the crowd? They had a banner when Gus Bradley was the head coach that said, "Just get better." And that's obviously.
What is that, like the Gus Bradley version?
The Gus Bradley motivational phrase, I guess. Like,
just do it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Nike didn't sue them for that. It's too close. Too close.
Oh, Mike Patton also says Titans wearing the Love You Blue uniforms. So I'm sure we'll hear nothing but crying from Texans fans about how those are ours. Give them back. Give us our uniforms. I'm so tired of that argument. Who cares? Like,
and Mitchell Sledge says, ain't looking forward to this week. Mills is a chore to watch, but Stroud's health comes first. I'm excited. You got to get your neck in the game. And you've got a long one with Mills, so it'll be good. And then Mike Patton also says, I might be in the press box. I probably find out tomorrow. So that'll be pretty cool.
Mike Patton, if you've been in other press boxes, you should do a ranking of press box food. I want to know which teams take care of the press better, because I've heard that some of them are like crazy good, and then others are just complete garbage.
Yeah, and then come back and report back to us.
So the resident fat guy on this podcast wants to know who has the best press box food. If you could hook me up, I'd appreciate it.
Well, any final thoughts, Crenshaw?
The final thoughts is, you might think we're done, but we're not, and we're still making the playoffs.
Oh, bold statement coming from the Texans fan battle over there.
He didn't say this year. He didn't say this year, technically.
Yes, this year. And I'm with Josh. I think the last game right now is to be determined. There could be a flex game, win, and you get in. That would be good for the AFC South, be good for the podcast, be good for bragging rights right there. So I would like that right there.
Well, just in general, the AFC South is about time that we have some respect on our name. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time, because it used to be 3 teams all the time in the Peyton Manning era. David Garrard's and all those guys. So Yeah, it's good to see us back.
Mike Patton says Ryans hasn't decided on a quarterback yet for the game Sunday. And he also wanted to report to you, Josh Allen. I've only been in the Titans press box, and they will be taking care of us.
All right, good to know. Good to know.
So
lots of different flavors of mayo, I'd imagine in there. Yeah,
Mike
mayo.
Patton, no decision, but unlikely. All right, well, moving on to the Jaguars.
Ugh.
That was a tough one. Once again, losing by a field goal.
I hate the Browns. I don't like them. I've never liked the colors of their uniforms. I don't like when they play here in Jacksonville. They're just as bad as Georgia Bulldog fans. These morons hang out of hotel windows as you're walking to the game and bark at you, like they're just the worst. And to go into Cleveland and have our starting QB come back, and then just both sides of the ball lay a complete egg for the first half of the game, and just let geriatric Joe just go up and down the field. It was defensively, it was a repeat of the week before. Mike Patton says Jags have nightmares of a Wacko Flacco flame. Yeah, I agree. I just, I don't understand how the defense has gone from being an opportunistic bend but don't break, get stops when needed. They've not been a defense all year that was a dominating defense by any stretch of the imagination. But I just, still I don't understand how the defense goes from good enough to do the job to literally only Josh Allen is the only person making plays with. Antonio Johnson, like he made a couple, but just across the board defensively, they were terrible. Trevor throws 3 picks, and then they finally get into a rhythm about midway through the third quarter offensively, and then it's just not enough at that point. They're just too far behind, and they just couldn't seal the deal. It's just a waste of a golden opportunity with the two teams nipping at our heels in the division standings, and the Jags go in and just lay a complete egg. What
did you think about the decision to start Trevor Lawrence with a high ankle sprain?
I don't know. I mean, listen,
ballsy.
I wonder if he didn't seem to be very accurate in the first half. So I don't know how much of that was he, was his ankle hurting and he's not able to play on his feet? Because the one thing that I've seen people who are good at analyzing football from a mechanic standpoint is that when Trevor's footwork is bad, he's not accurate and he makes bad decisions, right? The rumor, though, the thing that was going around and some of the comments that Trevor made and Doug Peterson made, the rumor is that the wide receivers, specifically Calvin Ridley, were responsible for 2, if not all 3 of the interceptions, because Calvin Ridley, if you go back and watch the footage of the Parker Washington touchdown, Calvin Ridley is standing at the bottom, as you're looking at it on TV, and the play is going on, and Calvin Ridley literally turns and is arguing with the referee instead of running his route. And he, the one where Trevor threw the deep ball to Ridley apparently was supposed to break back towards the ball there and catch it, because he had so supposedly part of what was happening is the Calvin Ridley, not being and doing what he's supposed to be doing. But Mike Patton, I think, hit the nail on the head here. The 2 biggest problems really were the O-line and the D-line. On the defensive side of the ball, nobody outside of Josh Allen is able to get any pressure, and teams are double and triple teaming Josh Allen when he is getting pressure. And they're, there's very few Aaron Donalds and other players in the world that can handle three linemen or 2 linemen and a tight end, keeping you from putting pressure on the quarterback. The rest of literally everyone else on the defensive line for the Jacksonville Jaguars can get off my team as far as I'm concerned. And yes, that includes Trayvon Walker. They're not that for 2 years now. Last year, statistically, the worst unit on the team across the whole year was the defensive line. They were not good at putting pressure on quarterbacks. They let Chad Henne drive 99 yards in that playoff game without even so much as putting a whiff of pressure. Even the savior of Jacksonville, one Mr. Arden Key, was terrible, and they let him go because he wanted too much money. It just wasn't good, and it was too little, too late towards the end when they started to get their act together. And my biggest concern at this point is not the offense. I think if Trevor's ankle's fully healed, I think they'll be all right there. They scored points. It's not like they didn't score any points. The question is, can the defense rebound? And get anything done in the last few weeks of the season, especially next week against the freaking Ravens. And like Mike Patton says, secondary gets exposed because no consistency and pressure, and eventually y'all going to look upstairs to where the blame lies. Yes, I 100% agree, Mike Patton, because if, again, I said it at the beginning of the show, if I see Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, our two best pass rushers in pass coverage on a clear third down where we need pass rush, and they're out there covering tight ends and wide receivers in the flat, I'm going to lose my brain. I'm just going to scream into the void because there's just no reason for your two best pass rushers to be in pass coverage instead of rushing the passer on passing downs. Like, it just doesn't make a bit of sense. And part of another thing too is there were a couple of critical third downs where the backup defensive line was in the game. So Josh Allen wasn't out there. Trayvon Walker wasn't out there. None of the guys who are the starters for the defensive line were out there because apparently Caldwell, the defensive coordinator, has this policy of wholesale substitutions where he'll take the entire defensive line, sub out the whole line. So he runs it kind of like hockey teams. Hockey teams have a first, second, third line, and they all sub in and out together, right? So, and I'm sort of going on a rant here saying a million things, but like the defense has got to be better. And Trevor has got to not throw 3 interceptions if the Jags are going to salvage this season, hold on to the division lead, get in the playoffs, and do anything worthwhile. Like, that's just
that was pretty wild to watch that over and over. I read somewhere that the receivers weren't running their routes; they were running them backwards, is why. But I don't know the accuracy of that statement.
Well, they said receivers, and then everybody seems to key in on. The rumor is that Calvin Ridley is the one that's screwing things up, right? Like, I don't know, but the problem is I don't know the play. None of us know the play that's called, right? That they're supposed to be running.
Well, I know they changed things up for him, so I'm wondering if that's why. If he's just getting confused, I'm not sure, but yeah.
I mean, at this point, I don't know. Sam, you're the only other sort of Jags fan on the show. At this point, I would not sign Calvin Ridley to any sort of a big deal. He is at best a wide receiver 2, at worst like a third rotation wide receiver. That's how he's performed this year. He's had a couple of big grabs when he's on, but like there's the majority of the season, Calvin Ridley has not played well. He has not done much of anything, and at some points has been a liability.
It's a good thing that he's got a year. So.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't, it is what it is, right? Like they still sort of, that was a team friendly deal because it was a 1 year sort of a thing. And anyway, but I don't know. And I'm not sold on Trent Baalke either. You start looking at some of these moves that Trent Baalke has made, his refusal to address the complete and total lack of pass rush, and his taking of Trayvon Walker number 1 overall. I think if anything sinks Trent Baalke's ship as the GM of the Jags, it will be that, right? Like, because that's the one glaring thing. If the Jaguars pass rush was better, I truly believe that defense would look better overall, and the Jags would seem like a more formidable team. But now they're kind of like two-faced. Like, you don't know which side of it's like a coin flip. You don't know which side you're going to get, right? Like, if it's going to be the team that comes out and wallops people like they did to the poor Titans here in Jacksonville, or if it's going to be the team that's just lays a complete egg. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, I must say I'll have to agree with Mike Patton on this one. He said earlier the biggest thing that is missing is consistent pressure up front, and I agree. So, any final thoughts going into the Ravens game? Which, by the way, if I can find the comment, we had our friends over at Sam Sports comment earlier, and Joe, we trust Ravens fans over there. They're kicking and screaming to get at the Jags next week. So give us a quick, how do you feel that game's going to go?
It's for the Jags. I don't see anything that tells me that the defense is going to play better. For the Jags to win that game, they're going to have to win it in a shootout like they did the last time they played the Ravens.
Who wants to tell Leslie why the Jaguars are like that? 2 games and you talk like you've been losing all year.
Well,
we're Jaguars. We're Jaguar fans. That's what happens.
Yeah, I mean, they've lost more than 2 games. And again, defense. You have to have a defense that's at least good enough to be opportunistic and make stops when it counts. The Jaguars' defense is not able to do that right now. They cannot get off the field. They cannot stop. They couldn't stop Browning. They couldn't stop Flacco. I shudder to think what the Ravens are going to do to us, with the human cheat code that they have at quarterback. So we'll see. If the Jags win, they're going to have to win it in a shootout. But honestly, my gut tells me the Jags are going to lose to the Ravens. I can't see a way that unless the defense just improves dramatically.
Let's hope they get lots of practice and screaming and yelling and no ice cream this week, and that they beat the Ravens. So.
Well, that's the kind of
there's actually a Jaguars account that was created. It was do the Jaguars deserve ice cream? Because Doug Peterson buys them ice cream, and it's a pretty funny. I love accounts like that pop up.
I mean, I'd be locking up some of the amenities in that new Miller Electric Center. I said that a couple of weeks ago. Like, pool tables for winners, fellas. The coffees for closers. Win on Sunday, and it unlocks access.
Here's celery.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on. The freaking Titans beat the Dolphins. What the hell?
It's like we all knew they would, right?
I mean, did we?
No one did.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, I wasn't on last week, but tell me, did you predict that to happen last week?
No, definitely not.
Yeah, right. I don't think anybody did. So tell us, give us a breakdown. You guys got lucky? Like, what was it?
Well, Vrabel traditionally has had success against the Chiefs, especially when Tyreek Hill was there. And after last week's performance, Titans fan base was ready to set him on fire and roll him down a hill, basically. And they were all ready to throw him away. They claimed he got out-coached and put everything on his shoulders. So he basically went to a tried and true formula, copy and pasted the Chiefs scheme and used it against the Dolphins, which is no blitzing, put 7 people between the numbers and make them work the sidelines, use the sidelines as a 12th defender, and make them go 10, 12, 15 plays. And it worked against the Dolphins the same as it always did when Hill was on the Chiefs. So the Dolphins had 3 touchdowns. Their longest touchdown drive was 12 yards. So the whole game, they couldn't sustain drives. If the Titans don't turn it over inside of their own 20, then the defense was holding up the whole game. And
he's the guy that muffed the punt.
He was on the practice squad. Garrar, I think.
Yeah, my favorite moment was he was on the sideline. 2 things I hate to say that I liked. The fact that Vrabel himself was coaching the kid up, talking to him about what happened, and Vrabel was having none of his excuses. He said, basically, I don't give an F. Every 4 or 5 times you could see you could tell, you could read his lips, because the guy was trying to explain, he was moving his hands around saying probably explaining why he did what he did, and Vrabel was just like, I don't care, bro, you can't do it, stop doing it, you gotta not do that, the thing you did, can't have it.
Yeah, and Vrabel talked about that after the game. He said that they coached them up that if there's no traffic, then take it off of one hop, but never take it off of a second hop. So he said that he calls that an aggressive punt return. But if there's traffic around, it's a reckless punt return. And so he was, telling him that was reckless, not aggressive. But at the same time, he was telling him, we're going to get more stops and you're our only punt returner. So, just get your head straight. You're going to get another chance at that.
Yep.
I almost dropped it again.
Yeah, the very next one, he bobbled.
But at least that was a little more straightforward, right? You can understand that because, catching punts and kicks is a lot harder than it looks on TV. I'll never forget the first time as a teenager, I was somewhere and they had one of those machines that throws the ball in the air like a punt. And I was like, oh, I got this. That's all. That looks easy. And then it was not. It was very much not. Very much harder than people think it is.
Much hard.
Yes.
Yeah. So the 21 of the 27 points scored by the Dolphins came off turnovers. So the defense played lights out the entire game. It was all on offensive mistakes, an interception, a fumble, and then the muff punt. But the mistakes that almost killed us was the offensive line. I almost had to take my shoes off to count up how many false starts they were racking up in that game. And Titans fans thought that the offensive line was bad after the snap, and they showed they could be just as bad before the snap. But they only gave up 1 sack in the game, so kudos to them on that, I guess. And Vrabel spoke to that as well. Basically, the Titans do this trick as well, where everybody gets set, and then the defensive tackle will shout some word, and the whole defensive line will shift. And that's what was causing the false starts. And that's also what saved us at the end of the game for the game-winning touchdown when it looked like we got another false start. But whatever they were barking out was too close to the quarterback's cadence. So they got a delay a game for copying the cadence, trying to cause false starts.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, because the way it was talked on TV, they said it was they called that on the defense because of the abrupt shift, but it makes more sense if they were shouting something out that was close to the cadence of what that makes more sense.
Yeah, and the coaching staff was apparently on the line judge all day telling him, what they're saying is the exact same thing that Will Levis is saying. Like, they can't use his cadence against him. And so they finally got caught red-handed. And that set up the last Henry run. But, in a game, the most surprising thing to me was the consistent pressure that we got on Tua the entire game, because we have Jeffrey Simmons on the sidelines. Pecco, who was replacing him, went out in the middle of the game. And somehow Landry showed up for the first time all year with 3 big sacks. And I think at least 2 of them in the fourth quarter. And one of them was the game-sealing sack at the end. And also the savior of Jacksonville, he had 1 sack, but he had pressures and hurries for the entire game. So Arden Key showed up big, and of course Autry with the block field goal. So he also nearly blocked an extra point. He came through the exact same gap on an extra point and missed it by a fingertip. But the biggest complaint coming out of the game was, again, Tim Kelly. They've got to just let Will Levis loose for an entire game. They wait till we're losing in games and then start letting him loose. In the first quarter, he had 4 pass attempts the entire quarter. And in the third quarter, again, they went back conservative. It was tied 10-10. So they're just trying to bleed clock and run clock. And once we're down 14 points, they finally let him loose, and he ends up winning the game for us.
Yeah, and Henry didn't look that great in the first half either. So they were running the ball. Spears was doing a little better, but Henry wasn't doing that great. But Henry had that 1 catch that was pretty wild.
That was a second and long conversion, like 2nd and 15 or something. He converted.
Yeah, he had either, I forget if it was a run or a catch where he coughed the ball up too. So Henry was sort of a mixed bag. He scored a touchdown, had that catch, but also had a turnover. And
I still can't believe they won. My mind's blown. Like, I have no words.
Well, the key to the game was your favorite player, Jalen Ramsey, getting trucked and beaten by Will Levis.
Man, I'm tired of the misinformation being spread on the internet about me. Okay.
Listen, we all know that you're the future ex Mrs. Jalen.
I posted it was funny because earlier I posted where Jalen Ramsey was tackling Will Levis, and he's like folded up, and I put Jalen Clamsy, and everybody on this network is all like, "Oh, your favorite player." I'm like,
man, Will Levis had him looking like a Motorola Razor. Is what he looked like, man.
Seriously, Jalen Clamsy. That's what I'm saying, man. Well, okay, so you guys play the Texans this upcoming week at home. What do you think is going to happen?
Well,
division
last
game.
night, for the first time in 390 days, I smoked a victory cigar after a road win. And so there's 2 more big streaks that we're trying to break this Sunday. So it'll be 396 days since our last back-to-back win, and 414 days since we beat a divisional rival. So I'm going to go ahead and predict 34-13 Titans victory.
Yep. So you're both saying so. We don't get any bets this week, I guess. No bets this week because Crenshaw also believes you guys are going to win. Hate to see it. Hate to see it. Well,
so do Derrick Henry get 100 yards on the Texans this Sunday?
Ooh.
Rushing.
No, I don't think he gets 100 yards rushing. I think it's another Will Levis day.
Okay.
I think Derrick Henry's done after this season. That's my opinion.
Maybe he'll go to the Patriots with Vrabel.
Oh no.
Yeah, you got to think somebody.
Maybe he'll come home to Jacksonville just to retire here. I'm just kidding.
Is his contract up after this season?
Yeah.
Or is it? You got to think some team's gonna at least try to sign him. I can't imagine.
He's still number 3 in yards and number 4 in touchdowns this year. So.
Yeah, and I saw a stat today. He's one of only 3 running backs to score 10 touchdowns or more in 6 consecutive seasons. So as much as I hate to say it, Derrick Henry is probably a future Hall of Famer. Yeah, you got to think somebody takes a flyer on him. If he's willing to play, I think he'll play next season. But I think that's the question: is Derrick Henry? That when the guys get all the different players when they get to that point in their career, is it still worth the physical toll it takes on their body to keep playing? But I don't know. Mercedes Lewis has been playing for what, almost 20 years. Man's 38 years old and still playing with the Bears, and so
Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, Jimmy Graham. Yeah.
I think Henry should play so he can get the milestone, 10,000 rushing yards and 100 touchdowns. That's a great milestone. So he should keep going, and he's close to both of them.
Yep.
He's at 95 total touchdowns now. That's receiving and rushing. So he's almost there on the touchdowns.
And what about the rushing yards? How many away from 10,000?
Less than 1,000 away now. He passed 9,000 a couple weeks ago.
So he could do that next year. So he's going to keep playing.
Yeah, and you kind of hope so. You want to see guys who are that sort of a talent like hit those milestones, right? Like good for him if he still does play next season. So.
Well, Michael, time to wrap up. But what are your final thoughts before we do?
The only final thought I really have is on Christian Fulton, who didn't play this game, and the pass defense looked the best that it's looked all year. So maybe he's needs to keep not playing or either drop down off of the number 1 cornerback spot.
Well, guys, I think that'll do it. I did promise at the beginning of the show that I would say a code, and so I'm gonna kind of troll everybody here with our code. So we're gonna do a giveaway for Christmas time. So if you're following us on our Fan Battle Sports Twitter, which is FBSN, Fan Battle Sports Network, if you're following AFC SFB, which is AFC South Fan Battle on Twitter, and if you follow our YouTube, Fan Battle Sports Network, and you come in next week and you comment the code IWATJ, and you're following all of those accounts. So I'm going to repeat. Follow Fan Battle Sports Network on Twitter. Follow, and that's just Fan Battle Sports. Follow AFC South Fan Battle on Twitter, which is AFC SFB. And if you follow Fan Battle Sports Network on YouTube, and send us and post this in the chat next week. We're going to be looking for this, and then I'll go vet you and make sure you're following all of those. Comment IWATJ,
which stands for it was always the Jags. So that's your code. If you want to win it, you gotta suffer through.
Yeah, I will send you your team, whatever team you follow. I will send you a hat of that team. But you have to comment this in our comment section at some point during the show next week. So, and then we will announce the winner at the end of the show next week. And I'll announce another contest next week as well. So make sure, leading up into the holiday season, I'm going to be doing some giveaways. So make sure you're watching. Should be SLJR. What is that? What does that stand for? Texans fan battle.
Yeah, what does that stand for?
I don't even think Matt knows what that stands for. Matt's just talking shit because he's setting up his new laptop. He just wants to click like Peter Griffin because Sam loves Jalen
Wow,
Ramsey.
that is great. That is great right there.
Oh man, that was beautiful, Matthew Briggs. I know that's you, Matt Briggs.
That's a way to end the show right there. I love it.
That is the way we end the show, Crenshaw. I don't know if you're aware that is actually officially the way that we end the show. So that
Put some
being
respect
said,
on that man's name. That's Jalen Clamsy. Okay.
Jalen.
Jalen Clamsy. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. And yeah, I hope you all have a fabulous week. And it was always the Jags.
And same loves Jalen Ramsey.
Go Texans.